yesterday. This is kind of an updated version of the Ice Till deck, but really more in on Wight of the Reliquary, which is a card that ties the room together in a lot of ways. We kind of started because we wanted to play some Wight of the Reliquary with Springheart Nantuko. It's something that we've never done. Nantuko is a really powerful card that doesn't have a great home in Modern. We've had some success with it in some of the Ice Till decks and in Nautilus Nadu and in some of the Eldrazi builds. But for the most part, we haven't done a lot with Springheart Nantuko, despite the really high power level of the card. This is partially because like green as a whole is like the weakest color in Modern when it comes to kind of playing to the board and playing fairly. I think all of the other colors do that better, with like Nantuko maybe being like the most powerful like incentive to like play to the board because you get to copy all your stuff and make a lot of tokens and all that. So it plays really well with Wight of the Reliquary, where you can bestow your Nantuko onto Wight. You can play a land, which gives you a token, which you can sacrifice to the Wight, which gives you another token. And then, of course, you can start copying the Wight of the Reliquaries and continue to do that and make a gigantic board. Now, this idea actually has kind of an interesting land payoff for this Nantuko Wight of the Reliquary build. We've got Evindo, the Waking Haven. This is fixed Gaia's Cradle with Station. It's particularly interesting with Wight because Wight is a big creature, so you can actually station enough counters onto Evindo, and it has Vigilance too, so you can like attack and station too, which is kind of perfect for the card. And of course, you can just tutor your one of copy into play. So when you get access to a Gaia's Cradle in your Green Sun Zenith deck with Springheart Nantuko making a lot of creatures, I think it makes a lot of sense to have access to a Craterhoof Behemoth as a win condition. And then, so that's how the Craterhoof got into the deck. And then it really solidified itself in the deck when I realized that Craterhoof Behemoth can also be your win condition when you're combo killing with Ice Till Explorer. So there is an infinite combo in this deck that maybe is kind of invisible. But the idea is that if you Springheart Nantuko onto an Ice Till Explorer, and then you have two Lotus Cobras, which is either just two Cobras or a Cobra with a Nantuko on it that you make a copy of. I know this is a lot of resources, but the real combo card is 6 plus Ice Till, where you're playing Ice Till, you're milling yourself for like almost your whole deck, and then your 6 is letting you play all of these cards in the graveyard. So I know this is a lot of pieces, but with like the mana from Lotus Cobra and access to every card from 6, you just get to do it all usually. So the idea is that once you do this, so every land you play, you get 2 mana, and you use that 2 mana to copy an Ice Till, which gives you another land drop. So that gives you infinite land drops, and then it'll eventually can give you infinite mana because you can make a third Lotus Cobra. And then what you can do is you can Shifting Woodland 6 if you don't already have 6, although you usually have 6 in these spots, and then you can retrace Craterhoof Behemoth. And if you don't have the extra land to retrace Craterhoof Behemoth, you do have access to Golgari Rot Farm. In fact, Golgari Rot Farm plus Ghost Quarter with this loop gives you infinite spells from your graveyard because you can play the Rot Farm, bounce something, you can play the Ghost Quarter the Rot Farm, and then replay it. So that's kind of the main reason why the Rot Farm is in here. But it can also just be like a fine utility land to like pick up a Bajuka Bog or just basically give you a land for next turn. You can grab off the Wight of the Reliquary. It's good with Grazer, so definitely don't mind playing a Rot Farm anyways. So there's like the infinite combo that's kind of hidden. It's definitely important to explain that. If you've seen, this is not the first time we've played this. We played a few different Ice Till builds, and I really want access to Nantuko and Lotus Cobra in these builds because I think these cards just play so well. Although I will admittedly the versions that we played without them were the better performing ones, but it was also earlier into the season, so that can sometimes just like the new brew factor can account for that. Kind of hard to say for sure. Okay, well, Rot Farm kind of boning us here, although we have got the Craterhoof anyways, so maybe we'll just want to mulligan this anyways. Definitely a nice hand. The Rot Farm kind of unmulligans us. I think that we will put back the Woodland. What's the fastest 5-round league I've had? I don't know. I don't really think that stuff usually matters very much in the context of Magic the Gathering. I know that Dingo for a while was doing speed runs, but I don't know. It's something I don't really care about, I guess. I don't think we need the second black source. Just get another forest. Do you think Fleeting Spirit and Ketramos would be modern synergy playable? I don't. Fleeting Spirit, not a card on my radar. Wight, exile 3 cards from your graveyard. This creature gains first strike till end of turn. Okay, we are the Ghost Quarter deck. Very happy to be playing playing against Tron here. Let me maybe play aggressive. Let's Rumble first. There's an Ice Till Explorer, which I think I definitely want to be grabbing. And the Grist Mill is even helpful because it can just dig me for Ghost Quarters. Okay, so this is a 3/1 Wight, exile 3 cards from your graveyard. This creature gains first strike to end of turn. Discard a card, exile this creature. Return to the battlefield. It's very mana intensive. Seems worse than like Relic. Okay, I think I got my headphones to work. Okay. Any chance you want Verges over Basic or Shock for Blue-White Energy? I don't think so. It's definitely not 0% chance. So we milled the Crater Hoof. So if I play this Lotus Cobra first, yeah, I think I just sandbag so I can actually dig a little bit deeper for Ghost Quarter. Because this, if I play I still have one Surveil left in the deck, which I'm going to go ahead and respond here. The only card I care about, I think, at the moment is Ghost Quarter. No, they have Dismember. Dismember is devastating here. Absolutely devastating. And I guess we keep that on top, but we mill it anyway, so I guess I should have just graveyarded it. This deck is actually Maverick Spike, it's no longer a meme. Yeah, I guess I still never really understood what makes a deck Maverick and not, but I'm glad that it meets the qualifications. They get Urza's Power Plant. It seems like they thought they got the right one. Okay, there's another map, I guess. Come on. Alright, so I have 5 creatures in my graveyard at the moment. Should we have let the... yeah, I wanted the extra look at Ghost Quarter, which is why I did what I did. I wasn't playing around Dismember. Could have played around Dismember. So after they crack their map, they could have 5 mana here. I have 5 plus 8. I have 8 plus another 5, which is exactly 13. So I do have lethal. No Scute Swarm in 35? Yeah, of course not. Of course I don't have Scute Swarm. It's just like about infinite worse than Springheart Nantuko. Itaki with the gifted sub, thank you. To Claudio, cool. Thank you, Nath, for the 32. So they still have 5 mana, although they could play some Eldrazi mana. They go ahead and grab Karn. So they might go Karn Tormod's Crypt so they don't die to my Grist Ultimate, which is exactly what they do. We draw another Springheart Nantuko, but we don't have a land drop to play. So this is extra damage. This is 6 plus 3 is 9. Yeah, I think I'm just going to deal max damage to them. We should play a Boro in this bad boy. Well, that's an idea. So next turn after they crack their map, they will have 7 mana. So if they have like exactly Allah's Dust, they can live. Don't think that Ugin's going to be enough. Yeah, Nantuko and Dread Arbor is legitimately good. That's not a meme. Brutal Dismember, but we might win anyways. And this matchup should be really good with us being the recur Ghost Quarter deck. Why not ult? My opponent has Tormod's Crypt in play, which means that the ultimate is just going to get countered by the Tormod's Crypt. Good morning, good morning. This deck can go infinite? Yes. It's convoluted, but the mill from Ice to Explore plus 6 lets you get all your pieces a lot of the time. Where you bestow a Nantuko on an Ice Till, and you get 2 Lotus Cobras, and oh no... That was a long time to cast an Allah's Dust, my friend. uh, okay, they said it's lagging. It's not. Okay, we haven't seen a Ghost Quarter. We have 4 of them in the main deck. We get a couple looks here. That could. Oh, they have the Torment script though. Right, we will make them have something else. And Tuco on dry plus enough for Lotus. Yeah, there's that too. But then also you get to like cast a Craterhoof Behemoth on that other loop, which is pretty good. Why didn't you hold the Nantuko from when I identified Dust isn't out? I don't think that me holding Springheart Nantuko is going to put me in a winning position almost ever, and so I think that it's a lot better to just have as much damage in play. So if my opponent has like Ugin into something, I'm closer to killing them. I don't believe that holding Springheart Nantuko is like really close to being a way to stabilize here. All right, let's keep it going. I don't want to sit through this resolving. I also haven't even seen a lot of Hollis Dust lately. So I don't think we need to change a lot about our build. I think I want to cut the Grist to the Spore Frog. I'm interested in bringing in the Oof. The Needles are kind of like largely for Bombardment and Johnny, in addition to like Belcher and then occasionally Karn. I don't know if I want to bring in a Needle or like a Thoughtseize. Shouldn't matter a lot either way. Been playing green, black, white for a long time. I suggest Korean Ranger. The card is absolutely wonderful with white and Yavimaya to pick up as Aegis. That's it. I mean, I would want it to be good with a little bit more than that, but maybe it can be. Okay, this hand is perfect. It's a good suggestion. I would love if somehow we were also playing like Fanatic of Ronus if we played Korean Ranger. I tried out Bant Riddler LGS with great except one game where I got locked out by Elish Norn. Yeah, that one's tough. Not a lot of Elish Norns on Magic Online lately, but definitely not one you want to run into. All right, I think we're going to be going to a fast game 3 after I assemble the Ghost Quarter lock on turn 2. It's also more landfall triggers. Yeah, that's true. I don't think this build is really hurting for landfall triggers, whatever that's worth. I guess they could have. They could have Dismember. Maybe I'd want to like rumble into. Try to rumble into white. I only have one card in the. It's gonna be very tough for me to like have a big enough white to survive. Okay, what I think we'll do is Ghost Quarter them and play white and try to bait Dismember on the white. And we tried Void Mirror against the K Command decks. I haven't played Void Mirror recently. It can be good against them. Okay, I've ramped them into Disruptor Flute, a very hard card to play around here. They probably named Ghost Quarter, right? They name Ice Till Explorer instead. Yeah, I feel like that's much better for me. I feel like you got a jam here at DK. To me, this feels like jamming. I don't know. To me, this feels very good against them and also better against the Dismember that they definitely could have. I don't know. Jamming would have been fine. Okay, now they have named Ghost Quarter. Let's get ready to rumble, I guess. Okay, I don't really have anything good to Shifting Woodland. We'll just get another Surveil. Hit them for 5. Jam meaning my highest upside play. I know what you meant, but like I think the slide we took is totally fine. If you wanted to play around double Disruptor Flute, good for you. I don't know. I feel like our line was fine. Now we can't activate Ghost Quarter even by paying 3 extra mana. I know that this is worded a little bit weird. I don't have any more Surveil lands, but I'm going to just try to mill more creatures if possible. I'm gonna sack the Arbor also. And then I'm gonna be getting a Shifting Woodland so that I can attack with a Wight if they do mill me. Hit them for 7. They can All Is Dust here, but then they die to the Woodland. So they get Tron. Then they Ugin me. Yeah, the naming I still was really weird off the flute, honestly, but whatever. So I get a Craterhoof Behemoth, and then I have 11 power of Trample that my opponent can block. If I send in after Ugin... Oh no! I punted. I could have also played the Arbor. I know I don't have Delirium, but I've got Nantuko that... Or Isil that can try to get me Delirium. Sorry. I mean, they would still... We wouldn't have had lethal on them, but we could have killed the Ugin. You had the mana for it to play this Arbor, yeah. So I could have killed the Ugin, but I would have put them to 1 if I had just played this. This doesn't give your other creatures haste, right? Yeah. That being said, I still have the Woodland. I no longer have the Woodland. All right, let's... Arbor would have milled the Behemoth. Would it have? I think it probably just trying to make me feel better. All right, tough first match. Double flutes. It was very... the Dismember game 1 and then the double flute was really, really wrecked me, but we could have killed the Ugin that game. I think we keep this on the play. Last seen 20 days ago on Affinity. Seems like they've moved on. You know, Domain Zeus is purportedly pretty popular on like Goldfish, but I haven't really seen almost any of it. Cool to see it. Those guys, 3 months. Thanks, welcome back. Yeah, the Ragavan probably won't be so good against my hand here. Dingo plays against Stu most evenings. Yeah, maybe it's just like evening time slot for some reason. Yeah, I tried to build this more mid-rangey. Did not end up seeming like that was a good direction to go. The build fills up really fast too. And they have a binding for my Wight. They got 4 cards in their hand beyond that. Do I get a Grist here off the Green Sun? They might be holding up Stub. So I do think we play around Stub by just going X equals 3. We could get 6 also. I think I'm going to get Grist. So they play a Surveil land. So they maybe don't have another one in their deck if they didn't fetch it of turn. They've got a Kavu, which probably just dries to my Grist here. I think we're graveyarding that. Need a little bit more value. Gonna hold that for our landfall though. So we might think that they're not that likely to have a Stub if they just tapped out. Although I guess they wouldn't have had Ferocious Creature anyway. No, we can't rule out Stub. So since we can't rule out stub, let's go ahead and green sun for an ice still here. After playing the land first, of course. Maybe they have two. They have Doorkeeper Thrall. Then they stub. Well, I'm gonna pay one. Go, Ice Still Explorer. Yeah. I'm gonna grab Shifting Woodland. Now, do I need to be like super duper afraid? I mean, I don't think so. I think like if they play a Flage, it's not going to ETB, and I could just grist the Flage. We're one card type away from Delirium here, by the way. We're Monger with the 26 months. Thank you. Welcome back. If we do lose the grist, we do get Delirium, and they just concede. Okay, it was a little early, but we will take it. So I'm going to bring in the Force of Vigors against Domain Zoo, and the first Endurance, and the second Spore Frogger cards I'm interested in. Bristol's pretty good that game. I think maybe we just could never board up the Crater Hoof. That might just be the philosophy I need to have. No Yogg. I mean, this build is really in on plans that aren't very Yogg adjacent, nor do we have anything that can tutor Yogg. Let's try this. Maybe we'll play 3-6 and then just 2 Ice Stills. Let's try that, actually. Thanks, you can Word Monger for the 26. The Ghost Quarter plan should be good against them, by the way. All right. We're on the draw against a 7-card hand. No turn 1 Ragavan. I think I do want to get an Arbor turn 1. They have a turn 2 Kavu. Bit awkward that you can't play Rumble and Wight on these kind of turns. Kind of tough to not play the Wight since it's slow getting online. I still is kind of my Yogg. I mean, I guess so. I mean, this just isn't a Yogg block deck. You know, we sure are Golgari though. I thought about the Warp Landfall 2-2 generator. We have played that card of the shell. It did not perform very well. All right, they discard a Flage for value here. And they play a Scion, so they're pretty online. I think that we're just gonna go Ice Till, play Ghost Quarter. I'm not super interested in Ghost Quartering them very aggressively. Like I want to probably Ghost Quarter the Triome in combat to shrink the Kavu. But if I do it earlier, I might be letting them escape the Flage. Okay, Force of Vigor would be a good draw. Guess I'll let them loot first. They loot away a Leyline. Might be ramping them unnecessarily, but good chance I'm shrinking the Kavu by a pretty healthy amount. Yeah, -2. So best draw is Force of Vigor. We get to kill the Scion and the Binding potentially. Instead, we draw a Lotus Cobra. Artifacts and creatures entering. Okay, this does not seem to stop my Cobra. I think I'll probably make a black mana off the second Cobra trigger. Doesn't really cost us anything. Then they can sign this Cobra trigger. So I guess maybe we should be black off the first one. I guess so. Get pretty punished. Because this could have been a 5/5. Alright, Spore Frog it is then. Been sort of stuck with Wight. It feels like something could be there. I've been thinking about jamming it in blue-white energy. Wight of the Reliquary blue-white energy sounds like the mana does not work. Nor does the card really seem like it's very good against Wrath the Skies. That would make a lot of sense, I guess. So I think we're still trying to draw a Force of Vigor. 6 would be a good draw. Green Sun Zenith for 6. No use social engineering. Shell, I said we have played the card in the deck, and it was did not perform very well. Is any modern deck running Cradle Home? We have it in this deck right now. It was pretty good in testing. I think that card that card could be more interesting with the Cradle land also. The thing is, I think you kind of need to play Felia with it so you can have the ability to scam it into play. Alright, getting Flays, let's go to game 3. I'm gonna bring in the Fungus. I think 3 Force of Vigor is probably a good amount. Pockets the 23. Any crazy changes in MTG this week in Modern or other Eternal formats, excluding EDH? I don't know. I these kind of questions that are like Spike recap the week. You know, I know they mean well, but it's just I can't recap the week for you. Too much. I mean, I'm keeping this hand. I think we go turn 1 Arbor, then we probably want to try to Nantuko onto the Arbor. Yeah, it's okay. I don't know how to recap the week for you. I'm a bad content creator, unfortunately. I don't think this week was too crazy for whatever that's worth. Okay, we're hoping that they have a Scion, maybe. Okay, I guess if they have Scion, then the Force of Vigor only gets the Leyline, huh? Let's bestow here. They play Leyline Binding. It'll be kind of interesting. Out of Indo, maybe going to get going. Obviously, stationing 12 is quite a lot, but you have a lot of incidental station here. We're gonna next turn we could maybe just make 2 more Dryad Arbors, which is going to be okay. They do also have the Binding, so we're not going to be able to make any more Dryad Arbors. Let's wait on the Force of Vigor because they might go fetch land Kavu, and then we might Force of Vigor Leyline and Leyline Binding, and then the Kavu just could die. So they did play the Kavu. Unfortunately, they didn't play the fetch land. So let's go ahead and kill this, pitch the Force of Vigor, untapped. Not a very good top deck. We should have this online next turn, and it should make millions of mana for us. And hopefully we can maybe surveil something to the top, like a Green Sun, Rumble. Now, I will say it's a bit annoying that you have to station 1 at a time. Mechanically, it doesn't really matter very much, but this takes a bit. Okay, I'll keep the Rumble. Station. 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 Now, we are going to have it online next turn. I did see a comment minutes ago. Too slow in for modern, unfortunately. I think as a 1-of and Wight of the Reliquary decks, Wight of the Reliquary Nantuko decks, it's playable, which is very fringe, but I think it's certainly good enough to play as a 1-of here. The Kavu's now a 4/4. A Leyline Binding by Ice Till. So hopefully we find something good off the Rumble. Yeah, I agree it should have been templated like Crew. Tap any number. Okay, so we find a copy of 6. We don't have a land in our hand. Thinking I probably want to just kind of like, I think I just want to attack for more this turn. If we need the Cradle online, we can just get it online next turn. Doesn't really cost us. Oh, sorry. I should have stationed with the 6, though. Have you thought about station lands being free way to tap creatures like we've seen in the standard Kona deck? Chatters have brought that up. I think Kona in general sucks, but I don't think that there's a lot of other applications, but it's possible there's an application or two I'm missing. Could be something to look into. So get your opponent, put our opponent down to 1, so maybe they could get saved by fire magic. Arena of Glory doesn't save them because they're gonna have. I guess they could have lightning bolt into Arena of Glory. Green Station Line with Nettle Sentinel. Trident Owls. I hated playing Owls because they do have lightning bolts. Probably should have bolted earlier. Just a Flage escape, they're still dead. They give us the GGs. Okay, so we win this match right in time for round 2 of the challenge to start. The mulligan, the second Grazer, and the hoof kind of awkward. So I guess we're putting back the Bog. Gonna Green Sun probably for Wight of the Reliquary next turn. And then if I miss my 4th land, I could get a bounce land to play my 4th mana on turn 3. Assuming the Wight lives. I think I'm gonna just put that at the graveyard for the Ice Till for a little bit of value. This is worse if I never draw another piece of mana and the Wight dies, but of course our Wight's in theory pretty good at living. Lava Spur Boots, okay. So up against an Affinity variant. There's usually been a pretty good matchup for us. Wait, they're not playing Emissary now. Okay, they are, huh? They play a Midnight. They've got 2 cards in their hand after this. Should we do a prediction on if our opponent's going to crack this Mishra's Bauble? Probably not enough time. The 6 isn't very good if my opponent makes a construct, so I'm just going to get the Wight. I think there's almost nothing that their hand could be that would make them not want to crack this. I guess maybe exactly Kappa Cannoneer, so kind of far away from almost nothing, I guess. They don't crack it. You better have Kappa Cannoneer. I tell you what. You better not just be making a construct. We did play Dice Factory Tezzeret. It didn't perform super well. I'm interested in circling back to it. It hasn't seemed like it's been a very hospitable metagame for Dice Factory, though, I'll say. Metagames looked a lot like this. All right. No one has ever cracked a Mishra's Bauble. So if they rebuke this, then they don't get to make a construct, at least. Usually they play exactly this one basic. They play a Thought Monitor. 4 cards in their hand after this. They have another Urza Saga, which probably is not going to be long for this world. And they cast the Warped Pinnacle Emissary. Then they Legend Rule a Mox Opal. Potentially just going to equip boots to like the Thought Monitor or the Emissary. So they cast a Thought Cast. A little redundant. Torment's Crypt's a bit of a nightmare here, but I can get another Ghost Quarter off the Wight, so it's not that big a deal. Yeah. It doesn't really do anything for them to sack at main phase. If they had been a little bit more patient, it might have been more annoying. They have a 3rd Mox Opal, so let's see if that last card is particularly scary. I imagine that they might just, again, be interested in equipping the boots. No, they have another Thoughtcast. 2 cards left in their hand. So let's go ahead and block here and get a Ghost Quarter. These games with this deck is just so fun. We graveyard a copy of 6. We take 1 damage. Lands are good and some spells are good. Lands are good because of the 6, and we're about to be milling a lot of cards. Right, so that is a land, as you may or may not know. The Mishra's Bauble, of course, remains uncracked forever. They probably are out of basics, so we are going to get to reduce their mana abilities significantly, I imagine. Yeah, just go ahead and get them down to just the Mox Opal mana, which should stop them from Kappa Cannoneering plus equipping at the very least. And then let's go ahead and retrace this Arboreal Grazer so we have something to sack to the Wight of the Reliquary. And then the 2/4 reach actually is pretty good on this board too. They do still have this Mox Opal for mana. 3 cards in their hand. They could equip Lava Spur Boots. The Mishra's Bauble still uncracked. I am losing my mind over here with Mishra's Bauble. They do have Kappa Cannoneer though, which is pretty bad for me. We're gonna need to find Spore Frog sooner rather than later, I guess. Losing my mind. They even tapped the Mishra's Bauble. Okay, so we get to chomp up the Thought Monitor, take 3. So we should have a little bit of time too. I'm gonna go ahead and get Golgari Rot Farm. The more landfall triggers, the better, of course, with 6 in play. Could get Evindo, but I think this turn we just get Rot Farm. We could get Evindo this next turn, maybe still. So we mill a Springheart Nantuko. That's a really good one. We draw a land. Cannot retrace Green Sun Zenith for all of the suggestions in chat here. I think I'm just going to try to mill Lotus Cobra or Spore Frog first, potentially. I have 1 land drop available to me. I think Ghost Courting is fine. You get a little bit of thinning, and we get the extra mill trigger. Another mill trigger. So I currently don't have another landfall, but we could make another land with Wight of the Reliquary. So let's go bestow Nantuko onto Ice Till Explorer. Guess we also get a land like this, right? Out of basics. This is another land. Just mill Misty Rainforest. They just concede the game as they get kind of bored, maybe. Just fine. So being up a game is really nice because we get to bring in a lot of good sideboard cards. Gonna cut the 6. Sorry, the Grist, not 6. I think we need the Hoof still. Been cutting the Flares a lot post-board. I think it's fine. Try something like this. Almost say, but yeah, they literally just no one has ever cracked the Mishra's Bauble. Play Darksteel Relic, Affinity players, if you just love to never crack your bauble. Play 4 Tormod scripts. They do something else. I'm losing my mind. Do you think the land that faces out a creature on ETB would be a good addition to Modern? I don't know. It seems like it would be more warp shenanigans, so I'd probably be more against it than in favor of it. It's an interesting card. Yeah, we've got Rin and Sick. We've got Grist Spore Frog. Sorry, 6 Spore Frog potentially, so that's usually tough for them to beat. Let's check on the challenge too. There's only 1 match still in progress. So I'm glad that they conceded and now they're mulled to 4. So not feeling too bad. All right, Otawara, Mishra's Bauble, 2 cards left in their hand. A turn 1 at Emery could unmulligan them pretty well. All right, keeping this in the draw. We're 2-1 in this league. Boros continues to be a thorn in the Springheart deck's side. That is one thing about the mono green build, I guess, with the K command and the Emrakul. Like those cards gave you like a pretty reasonable plan, and in this matchup that you just no longer have. I could go Cobra into Wight and then lose to this Goblin Bombardment, or I can go 6 and lose to the Goblin Bombardment. A couple decision points. Let's go 6 instead. Hopefully we get to play some Vintage Cube today. I think I'll do some after this Modern League. Yeah, I don't feel like playing against Boros. It's Friday. I think that Boros is like so dominant that it's still ruining the format or anything, and I don't think that it's too tough to be good against if you want to be good against. But I am pretty. It's been a year, 14 months of Boros being super duper popular and game patterns being really repetitive, and I don't think gameplay with it is super interesting. So once November comes, we can talk a little bit more about bans. Do you ever play Best of One Cube? No, I've never played Best of One Cube. I feel like Cube Leagues are already so fast. Best of One is really weird to me. It's kind of interesting. Ooh, Living End. So hopefully we build some creatures here, I guess. I anticipate no changes. Maybe. Here's some creatures. Yeah, I guess I should be just like trying to have a full yard, so once they Living End, we're pretty good against that. As much as Boris Fatigue has set in, I don't think the deck is unhealthy, nor cards in the deck need a ban. Yeah, I mean, as far as unhealthy though goes, I think a deck tier 1 for 14 months, like that certainly meets a lot of definitions of unhealthy. But I agree that it's a lot more subjective than just, yes, this needs a ban or this doesn't need a ban. Okay, let's save the Cobra so we're a little bit better against a possible Living End. And then I think I just play the Swamp so I can get the value if they do Living End. I don't think I need to start Ghost Quartering right now, although they might be out of basics since there's an island and a mountain there. This card is worse if you forget to station it. Probably won't be the biggest deal here. Modern is arguably the only format people are enjoying. Why would they focus on that and potentially ruin all three? Well, again, it's a philosophy thing. Like, do you think that you let a good format, and I think Modern is good right now, do you just let it be good, or do you try to continue to improve your Eternal format slowly over time? Because Modern is good, it could definitely be better. There's a, I agree that you don't really have to mess with things a lot, but it's okay. They cast a Bloodbrain Marauder. I don't know if they thought they had Delirium, but again, it feels kind of philosophical to me to some extent. Do you try to make your Eternal format better, or do you just let it be good? I don't really have the strongest opinion on this because I also am worried of the messing everything up. It doesn't exactly seem like banning a card from energy would mess everything up, but you kind of really never know, right? Because they nuked standard, and then standard was miserable. Or MH sets still every 2 years. There's no scheduled MH4. In theory, there would be an MH4 next year if they had kept the routine up. I hope that they don't make an MH4 is my current stance. Modern Horizons already did that to Modern. Okay, what? This isn't Reddit. You're not getting upvoted for this. Modern's already bad. I'm not making a point. I have nothing interesting to say. It's just, you're not making a point. Don't be afraid to say something. I might go Green Sun for 1 or for 0. Get Dryad Arbor, trigger. Sack Dried Arbor to Flare, and then mass level up my Avindo. Can I mass level it up without that? So if I go Flare, then I have 4 plus 2. I guess I could, yeah, I could just, okay, well, they're conceding. I think I was having some fun. Have you considered that Modern is already bad? Or Modern was already ruined? Like, what are we, you're not saying anything. Okay, how good is Spore Frog against them? Seems kind of annoying for them, right? Self-sacks. I don't think I'm going to bring in the Thoughtseize. We're 2-1 in the challenge. There's a recent Morrow blog post where he said they're moving away from direct to modern sets in lieu of printing Universe Beyond Standard. Yeah, I think that is for the best. I think you know now that we have this bigger frame of reference too. I really liked Modern Horizons 2, but this was largely because Modern Horizons 2 stabilized Modern after a period of like a year, 2 years of War of the Spark to Call Time, horrible standard designs, crazy power levels, and then MH2 entered in a new era where I think gameplay was better, deck building was better, and it kind of had a new power level. But I think a Modern Horizons format that isn't entering an awful, unplayable format like Modern Horizons 2 was, it's very hard to like it. Or it's very hard to design, maybe like it's not the right word. But like when we entered, like MH1 and 3 both messed up a good thing. We had a good thing going, Modern Horizons, and you ruined it with you and your pride and your ego. You know what I mean? We just had a good thing going for both of for pre MH1 and pre MH3, and those sets, like MH1 had a lot of help, admittedly, with Eldraine and War of the Spark and Call Time and Ikora, of course, but I guess we go Rumble into Nantuko because we really want to mill some creatures here. Yeah, I think we're just gonna put both of those in the yard. Then probably grab the Rot Farm. Yeah, I think the way standard sets are currently impacting Modern is good too. I mean, just because it's a common sentiment doesn't make it not a point. Modern was so different before MH, and everyone agrees. Mini Armada was. No, it doesn't make it a point. Like, the conversation we're having is how do we improve Modern now? How do we improve Modern now? So, and to say that, and then the response to my point was, I said that I think that, you know, they banned a lot of things in standard, and it had a really negative impact, and it ruined everything. The response to that that you're responding now to was Modern Horizons already did that. Modern Horizons already ruined Modern, and that isn't a point. That doesn't contribute meaningfully at all to the conversation that we're having. You know, you're not saying anything. You're just getting Reddit upvotes, you know, which is fine. You could get your Reddit upvotes there, but it did not contribute to the conversation. They force pitch subtlety. Do I want to trade Wight for Curator of Mysteries? Crash out. So annoying. I can't articulate my thoughts. Crash out. You're crashing out, chat. Spike, you're crashing out. I can't articulate my points. Do I sack the frog this turn? Second frog seems okay. I think instead I'd like to just make them living in. Although, you know what? Maybe I should sack the Nantuko. It's a little bit weird. But it's pretty good against them having another living end. Like, if they're attacking like this, it kind of seems like they have it, right? Maybe they're looking for another Bloodbraid Marauder, and then they didn't want to show it to me off incubation. We get to Ghost Quarter them twice. They do have 2 basics. I think we just start getting those out of the way. We could also cut them off double red for Electro Dominance, maybe. Although maybe we're playing into double red if they had tapped here. Okay, opponent's down to 11. Seems like we should probably sack the frog this turn. Okay, they concede. So 3-2 this league. Again, the Boros matchup just continues to be such a nightmare for Ice Tilt decks, which is probably why the Eldrazi version 1 is the best, because it just had the best Boros matchup.